The change itself doesn't matter nearly as much as how it's received, and how we communicate it and when we communicate it is what determines that the most. So for example, in my company, there was a lot of changes as I was building my practice to sell. I had to change a number of different things, especially the thing of like, we're gonna sell. Like, think about that discussion. That discussion is the quintessential, your world is changing at our company discussion. And the way that it was handled, and I will tell you that the key to a successful transition is transparency, early communication, and frequent communication. The big sell discussion started about 6 months before we actually sold. And it was me with just my leaders saying, like, key people. It was like, hey guys, listen, we have an opportunity to possibly merge our practice and grow our culture in a way that's going to be super exciting. And I would sell my shares of the company as part of that process. But it's just early discussion. Like, we don't even know if it's going to happen. As soon as I got the information, I wanted to share that with you. And so here you go. And then later it turned into, hey guys, this deal looks like it's pretty exciting. This is the things that they're talking about. Here are the things I'm concerned about. Is there anything else I should be concerned about? And let them kind of voice, because having their voice early before the transition occurs, it completely starts to engage them into the change in a way that allows them to like really like hear that things are changing, and they start emotionally adapting, and then they feel like they're a part of the change. And then later, it was like 3 months before we sold, I'm like, guys, I think this is going to be a possibility. You know how we were worried about these things? And I mentioned not just my concerns, but their concerns. I gave answers, but they weren't like solutions. It was like, yeah, I think this is going to happen this way, but I don't really know. This is going to be solved. And I just gave them all that piece. And then it was like 2 months before we sold, I said, hey guys, I've made a decision. We're going to move forward with this because of all these reasons you already know. And then I went to the rest of my team. And in the rest of my team, I said, so when I have 50 employees, you don't slowly leak it to all 50. That was a one-day announcement. But the difference was I had the key leaders. In a small practice, you know, that changed, scaling it back to like changing the EMR or like a billing company. That change can be like just a 2-month process, but it starts with like, hey guys, I'm thinking about changing my billing company. Here's how it's going to impact you. Now, here's the thing. Whenever changes are going to occur, people only care about what's going to change in their world. That's it. We pretend like they really care about the company, but they really just care about how it's going to impact them. So early on, we have to determine that as leaders, what will the changes look like for them, and in a way that will matter to them. So it doesn't matter how small the detail. When we bring it up like, hey, I'm thinking about going to this billing company for the following reasons. And if I did, this is how it's going to impact you. Number 1, number 2, number 3, number 4. You know, and then we spell it out early, and then there's a discussion. This is why weekly team meetings are so vital, because when those team meetings occur, we can use that space to be transparent and communicate early, and then they can come back with like, well, if you're going to change how PTO is tracked, or if this is going to change, is that going to be you know, you can just be transparent. Yeah, that is actually how we're supposed to track it. So we're going to go that way. Or like with the billing company change, it's like, you know, if any kind of concern they have, we either tell them the truth, how it's going to be resolved, or we tell them the truth that like, we don't know how it's going to be resolved. Either way, once they voice their opinion and they get it, that this was an important decision, it's always easier for us to get buy-in as leaders before the change is official. Once they're bought in and then the change occurs, there's still some pain, but it's the difference in having some mild joint pain versus being in, you know, completely laid out because of inflammation. Right. So that's the key in the whole process, or those steps.